Hey, how's it going? It's Grant
And Shelby.
with the Garden of Eder, and today we're going to be talking about the ideal plants for a shrimp tank. Now, we've kind of been consistent with what we recommend for most shrimp tanks, especially breeding tanks. However, if you look at the tanks behind us, there is a plethora of different kind of aquatic plants that we keep in most of our shrimp. They're not most of it, but in some of our shrimp tanks, right? So I've got a list here of a bunch of different plants. We're going to go over them, why they make great shrimp plant tanks or shrimp tank plants. I'm sorry. Or whether they're not so good. Some of them, though, I might say are not the best, but there are ways around it. You're fascinated today. Or you see, no, we did move the newts. The newt babies have hatched, and I don't want them to be gobbled up. So move them up into the top tank up there, and then we did get a plethora of Daphnia, and we loaded up their tank, and we'll get some baby brine shrimp going also. So I don't know what she's staring at, but
That pleco.
I don't think it's the pleco. She's looking more. Oh yeah, she's looking more up there. I don't know. So
Bubbles.
it's been a week. We've kind of resettled in from our trip, but then we had our aquatic club meeting at the Pasco County. My buddy Chance, he did an aquascape demonstration, and then we went out to Hot Pot and hung out here at the house and talked a bunch of aquascaping and stuff like that. So really enjoyed that. But besides that, just trying to get everything planned and sorted for the year. Taxes are all squared away. That was the main priority for last week. And then getting caught up on orders, which we're fully caught up now, right?
Yeah, there's an order today. Well, no, we're not fully caught up. There's still people waiting because it's cold.
Yeah,
But other than
in some
that,
parts
yes.
it's a little bit too cold. But yeah, no, we're caught up on our normal orders going out.
And then, there we go. I went too far.
Was that Lefty? It's way down there.
No,
I haven't seen him on in forever.
it was just right here.
What, you had a question?
No, it is Tube Dog's birthday. So
Oh.
What are you getting me for my birthday?
It is Lefty. How you doing, man? It's been a while.
Hi, Lefty. Happy birthday, Tube Dog.
Well, what do I got for you for your birthday? It's your birthday. I guess we gotta light some candles. So I'll stick these in for you. I've got.
Don't fall now.
You gotta find
Happy
something
birthday.
else.
Johnny Best says, I see you don't have much broadleaf plants. We have some. Most of our tanks are just usually Tingyongs. I mean, we have some broadleaf Java ferns, I would say, in the house somewhere. Most of our tanks are smaller, so usually broadleaf has bigger leaves, bigger tanks usually. Welcome in. There's so many people here tonight. Thank you for joining us. Johnny Best, thank you so much for gifting 5 Garden of Eder memberships. If you get gifted a Garden of Eder membership, make sure to email us at thegardenofeder@gmail.com, and we will get your membership-only sticker out to you and your discount code for the website.
Trying to figure out what tanks they can.
Oh, yeah. We could also use my camera. She's just really just watching her daddy. She is all about daddy. It's not fair. She does not. I'll be talking to her. She just doesn't care if daddy's around. Obviously, if I'm the only one here, she's fine with that. Hope everyone had a good weekend and hope Grant doesn't break anything.
Well, I was skillful. I didn't trip on nothing.
Yeah. That's mine. That's mine. Sorry. I don't know where he's at, and I'm trying to read as fast as I can. Sam is at Ohio Fish Rescue. I hope you're having a good time. Dee Dee, I was a daddy's girl too. So was I. My mom did so much for me, and it's just something about them dads. Layla's also a daddy's girl now. All right. I don't know where he is. So we do have broadleaf bulbitis somewhere. I definitely know that we had that for a while. I don't even know where it's at now.
What?
Broadleaf bulbitis. I know we had that.
Oh yeah, it's actually in that tank all the way. That far left tank, third row.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually doing well in another tank also. It's just tinier.
Mm.
So happy birthday, Toot Dog. I hope the candles worked out. All right, back to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so like I was saying, we mostly recommend moss. The main reason why is because I don't like to uproot anything out of the substrate and to maintain a lot of the I don't know, quality, and to propagate plants and to make the aquascape out of the plants look really nice. A lot of times you gotta go through the substrate, trim roots, trim plants, replant, and stuff like that. A lot of times the crypts will send runners and stuff like that, and you kind of gotta prevent them from building up on the glass and whatnot. So I really try to avoid these as much as possible in my shrimp tanks. I'll go over those a little bit more, but I'll dive more into like the different varieties of moss. Especially at all the shows, we'll have like 15 different types of moss. I don't know if I'll go over all of them, but Christmas moss is like one of the most common ones. Java is pretty much the most common, I would say, and it's not really uniform. It grows really differently in different water parameters under different light strengths, and then it also doesn't really have any uniform structure growing out. It's just kind of a mess, but it's great for fish breeding and stuff like that. And for me, the Java moss is a little bit easier to maintain and control, and it's more like Christmas tree fronds that kind of stack on top of one another and kind of make a nice big old moss ball rather than an entangled mess. So right off the rip, I recommend Christmas moss over Java, but there are people who won't touch anything other than Java moss, and I feel like that's strange because Java moss for us literally grows the worst. Christmas moss, spiky, is very similar to Christmas. It just kind of sends these weird runners and grows a little bit quicker. Then you got peacock, which is like Christmas moss with like a little bit of curl. But then even my bigger favorite than that has got to be weeping moss. Rather, where the other plants will grow up more, weeping moss kind of want to grow down and take over everything. And in our like main shrimp tanks, Christmas moss and peacock, they'll kind of fill up the entire 10-gallon tank, where the weeping moss kind of gets like 2 to 4 inches tall and kind of mats out the entire aquarium. It does kind of make it harder to cull the shrimp because it grows out a little bit faster than it does the Christmas grass. Kind of grows up and out. But it's great for bonsai trees and hardscapes, moss walls, and trees, and all sorts of different things.
Zen says, I have a forest of bulbitis now, and I just realized I don't have the slightest clue what species it is. I can't believe how many different bulbitis there is, and like they're so beautiful, and it's just crazy how different they look from each other. Like obviously they look like a fern, but
you can send some to me and I'll identify it for you.
That is Grant's favorite. I'm like, anytime I want to use bulbitis, because it's like especially mini bulbitis, it is so beautiful in certain scapes. It just gives it that little bit of character. And Grant's just like, we're getting that back, right? Like, it can't be a tank that we don't bring back. He would be so mad.
I've got a thing for ferns, and Bulbitis looks more like a fern than any other ferns that I'm going to talk about. And yeah, I like my Bulbitis. It doesn't grow very big or fast, so I kind of hoard it.
And Myra is getting big, 15 pounds already. 15. She's almost the size of a 6-month-old, like average. Crazy. She's like, what? Don't tell people that. She's cutie. She's a healthy weight. She's on par. They say she's perfect.
And then there's other mosses like flame moss that grows directly up. We have nope, I'm not going to talk about that. We have anchor moss, which is very similar looking to Christmas moss, but it grows more like an anchor moss. It grows flat and across the gravel and doesn't get very thick.
Julian said, flame moss grew beautifully in my old tank, but it definitely took over. We've had flame moss. It once it starts to take, it's got a hold. I love it so much, but I love when flame moss will grow up and out of the tank. Like that stuff is crazy. It like creeps on the wall sometimes. Oh, I love it. Why'd you stop in the middle of your sentence?
I don't know. What sentence? We also have hooker moss, and I know that's got another name to it, but I've been describing it as like it grows in hooks, and that works. It's a good way to describe it rather than saying it's like hookerous or something like that. Because it kind of does grow. I can't hooks.
Pronounce that.
Then there's Taiwan moss, which is kind of similar to Java moss. It's just more compact. There's mini versions of the moss. There's also Physidens. I love Physidens. That's kind of like my favorite moss that I like to hoard. The Phoenix Physidens, the Frontosis. I can't pronounce that one. That one's the one that's native to Florida, I believe. There's Gippy and a couple other different varieties. There's like a lot of different varieties. The mini Physidens, I think, is my all-time favorite. It grows very, very slow, and like just a quarter of it, like a size of a quarter clump, and it's not very tall either, is worth like $50 to $100. So then there's also Buce moss, and Buce moss doesn't really have a scientific name. It's more like a common term for any variety of moss that is growing on Buce when you get it in. A lot of times from the importers and whatnot. So you got to think like Buce isn't in the wild fully submerged. So when it first came into the hobby, Buce moss was more of a thing because people were getting in with their first clumps of Buce that they were having. It was growing on the roots and stuff, and then they would cultivate it. Pretty much all the other mosses, besides the hooker grows really slow. But all the other mosses I named, you throw about a golf ball size portion in the tank, and you do your water changes and feed your shrimp, and you can get like a full size tank of it, a 10-gallon tank, in just like 6 months. The Buce moss, I've been growing a little portion of it out for like 6 years, and it hasn't covered up an entire 10-gallon tank yet. What you looking at, Willis?
Snail.
Oh.
Looked weird.
The Colombian Rams ones are still alive.
That's what I was looking
and
at.
It's going to warm up in another month or two, and we are going to have them booming outside. They're going in all the guppy grass tubs with the Cladoff. They're going in new tubs without the Cladophora. We're gonna have a
hold on. Oh, you can't really see.
She's just staring at me. Yeah, talk about you.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. So cute. Felipe said, speaking of broadleaf, I have a banana plant that has grown leaves so big, 6+ inches wide. I had to cut some out. Is that normal? Every other one I've had stayed small.
Are they starting to root into the substrate? Because if they are, then that's going to happen, and then they'll actually lose their bananas and turn into lilies. Mm-hmm. So just like the tiger lotus, in order to keep them looking good, they need some trimming and pruning. But unlike the tiger lotus, these need to be trimmed from the bottom as well.
But yeah,
I
I've seen big leaves on them.
I also don't know if there's a lot of information out there about banana plants. But
Yeah.
like I could easily become the leading expert on banana plants. And then I think it would be hilarious if I like dedicated it to Jenna. But
She
like
clicked off now. Thanks. You just lost a viewer. She's like, them banana plants again.
But like I honestly think people that want to keep nice banana plants should maybe keep them dried out of water but moist for like a week and then put them back into the tank for them to solidify their bananas.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a lack of something that creates the bananas. I can't remember.
Because
It's
there's a lot of people
nutrients
that
on
complain
it.
about how hard the bananas are, and they shouldn't be a hard plant.
Yeah,
but then
no.
you think about what they want to do in the wild, and then you're like, this is why people lose them, and then they get lilies and other things. So
Night Owl said, "Hey, Shell, we found the email from the raffle winner. It was in a different email. Awesome. But I'll save the fish vase for you and bring it to Aquamania." Yes. Yes. That's a cool yellow. I know. I already tried buying 2 fish things at the last auction too. Grant was like, "No." I was like, "Yeah."
I wasn't like, no. I was like,
you
you
didn't
can
like it
paint
that much. I mean, they were weird because they were
it was
like,
just
it
badly
wasn't like they
painted.
were a koi or like a goldfish. You couldn't
The
really
other
tell
one was
what
a
they
carp,
were.
and it was nice. And Chris
Yeah.
won it. Chris took it home, and I was like, oh, I don't know how much it went
that
for,
one's
but
okay. It just seems
I
like
could have turned it into a fountain. And I thought it was go,
Yeah, that one was
and then you
okay.
let me down. You didn't
It
win.
was already up to like $6.
I spent 30 on Daphne.
I like to collect my weird stuff. I don't like to like overspend on it. But I love that fish face. It's yellow and I might actually paint it, but like just details.
We're not talking about Bulbitis yet, but
I'm sorry.
there's
Everybody's
so many
bringing it
people
up.
talking about Bulbitis.
Bulbitis
I'll
have
come back to
massive
it.
species too. Oh yes, they do. Continue.
All right, so the moss though is by far my favorite, but very similar to moss, and I'm sure there's eons of mosses out there, and some of my favorites that I forgot about to name. But then there's also liverworts, and liverworts are very similar to moss, but they're also like an algae-looking kind of thing, right? So the main ones are Sawasatang or Rampelia. Then you have Minipelia and Riccia. There's some other ones, like there's a different type of Sawasatang that's not Sawasatang at all, but it looks very similar. It grows more like, kind of looks like flames rather than it does like little circular coral structures, or algae structures, I should say. Then I know I'm missing another liverwort that's maybe not. But those ones are great. The Minipelia grows really slow, works as a carpeting plant. It also does great on wood and rocks and stuff like that. And then the Rampelia or the Sawasatang, that is like one of the best things for like babies and female shrimp to hang out in. Just like it's one of the best things for spawning fish and stuff like that. Also, I highly recommend everybody should keep a tank of Sawasatang. And then, like, if you ever were to add it into a planted tank or something and you wanted to get rid of any of the liverworts, you could actually get rid of them with algicides and it'll kill them off. And then the Riccia is a floating liverwort. So that one's really cool. You can get it, though, to grow onto moss. On rocks and wood and stuff like that. Michael Labello's favorite plant is Bulbitis, but he bombed on one of the auctions because I put a rare piece of Bulbitis in it, and I can't remember the variety, but it's my vining one, and it gets very small. The leaves are like no bigger than 1 centimeter, and then they're like chained like at least 2 centimeters apart. It's a really cool plant. I love to use it in aquascaping, and I was like, I'm going to bring it to the club meetings. And I put on it very rare, probably the first time sold in the club. And Michael Labello goes, this isn't the first time it was sold in the club. I have this. And then I go up to Mike and I was Mike, you have this plant? And he's like, no, I don't have that. And I was like, that's the plant you said. And he's like, oh no, I got Bulbitis. I was like, there's different types of Bulbitis, just like there's different types of crypts. So yeah, that's my story about Mike bombing my $80 Bulbitis for like $3 in the auction. But I love Mike.
That was a big explanation. I messaged like 3 people, came up with a whole new short idea.
I got more Michael
You're
Bello
explaining
stories.
them all.
I got more.
Julian said, just noticed some eggs in not. I know I cannot pronounce this. Time to pick some eggs. I'm very jealous because these poor cats are adorable. I just Googled them because I had to know which fish. I'm like, I've heard of these before, like several times, but what are these? So, they are cute. Congratulations. I want Cory cats. Every time I think about it, I want more Cory cats. Physidens is awesome, but difficult to get established. Yeah, Physidens, you really need to like grow it on something. That usually seems the most successful is growing it on wood or anything else.
The one tank that we have it
you
growing
can disagree
the best
all
in,
you want. You can
fluffed
still
up
be
like all my other
wrong.
moss, and every time I've tried to grow it on something, it grows so slow, miserably slow. But I'm about to seed a bunch of tanks with it now.
Brenton likes his Buce moss. This stuff's really pretty too.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so dainty.
The only problem with it is the one moss, because it grows so slow, it is very easy to get algae to grow in it. So I get a little bit of hair algae, and it's not the Cladophora. It is the hair algae.
Living Dream Aquatic said, I bought some moss a few years ago and don't know what it is. Is there any way to tell what it is?
Pictures help, but I need pictures of it in the aquarium. I can't just take a little strain of it and ID it that way. I'm not that good. I have to look at it in a good, mature clump of it growing, and I should be able to help you and let you know what it is.
Sam says, I hate the name banana plant. I absolutely love it. I think it's the funniest name. I think that's like the best selling point to it. It's just like a bunch of bananas. You know what makes me think of? Donkey Kong. I want to do like a Donkey Kong themed tank with just a bunch of banana plants in it. That's my tank for the Florida State Fair. Any of you try to steal it, we got beef.
We did run out of banana plants, and I had somebody ask what flavor they were. And I was like, these are aquatic ones. And they're like, yeah, they can grow out of the tanks. And I was like, no, like they look like bananas. It's like a lily that grows. So like there was one person 2 weekends ago that I was like, I didn't think the day would ever come.
Tupac said, what's your take on Monte Carlo as a substrate cover?
It's on the list. We gotta get some standards going. We gotta stick to them. But it is your birthday, so we're gonna talk about Monte Carlo now. I love it. Whenever somebody wants to talk about what foreground plant that they should use, if you're actually looking for something that's going to be thick and cover up, she's enjoying it.
I know.
All right. She's just laying weird.
Sorry.
She's happy. She's looking at the tank backwards. It's probably more entertaining than me now. But whenever somebody asks for either like dwarf hairgrass or dwarf baby tears or any of the other foregrounds, and they're not running high-tech CO2 tanks, I always recommend them to get the Monte Carlo. The car, not so great. The plant, I love it.
There's a Monte Carlo car?
Yeah, Eddie had one. It was garbage.
Oh, wow. It's Monte Carlo. It's something else. I feel lost. I feel like it's something else. No, it's a Monte Carlo. Okay. I don't know. Banana info is new to me. Yeah, there we go. The banana part is storing nutrients for dormancy. Going in the wild, I found a bunch of banana plants and couldn't find the actual bananas to them.
Back to me?
Yeah.
All right. So then we have Anubias.
Wait, I'm just kidding. Just messing with you.
And Buce. These are both epiphytes. They grow in the water column. They could also be planted into the substrate, but you want to make sure you don't bury the rhizome. The rhizome is like the leaf viney thing that the viney looking thing that grows the leaves out of it, and then off of that will come roots underneath that. So you can bury the roots, you cannot bury the rhizome. You could also attach it to wood or rocks. They also do really well floating in the aquariums also. They're very, very slow growers, but if you do plant them in the substrate or attach them to something, generally speaking, that Anubis isn't going to outgrow the tank by the time you're ready to rescape or tear the tank down, redo the substrate or something like that.
Wow.
There's petites and nanogoldens. Those are smaller ones, and they grow really, really slow. So if you plant those into a 10-gallon tank and they fill up the entire tank in like 10 years, then yeah, maybe it's time to sell some of that off and then use that money to upgrade for a brand new tank. So what's up? Is there a lot of shrimp?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Definitely up there and right there. Those two flavors are the winners. I think they also have more shrimp in those tanks, though, to be fair.
Go back to talking.
And then we have Buce, we'll get back to Anubis. There's like Barterai and Nanji. These ones get a lot bigger, and they work great for like cichlid tanks or larger 20-gallon, 30-gallon tanks. I really enjoy the smaller ones myself. They've also got like pinto varieties and white varieties and stuff like that have different colors. There isn't like any like really, really pretty colors. It's all just green, yellow, and white, but at least there's some different patterns to them and stuff like that also. And then we have Buce. There's a lot of different varieties of Buce also. These are a little bit more colorful. Just like the Anubis, they can also flower underwater. So that is kind of nice. They are an epiphyte as well. They can be attached to just about everything. They can be floating in the aquarium. We've got some floating up here. Those are the Buce up top, and they grow really well. We started them off from like straight out of the tissue culture cups and just popped them right in. And they've like quadrupled in size in the last year, just doing nothing but water changes and feeding the shrimp. So they are an extremely slow grower, even slower growing than the Anubis, and that is a bit why they have a little bit different price tag. There are some larger ones like the skeleton keys that get a little bit bigger, but they don't really grow nearly as fast, and they don't do as well underneath the water fully submerged. You're not on. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Up, you're sideways. There we go. I wish there was a way to make you... Nope, wrong way. I want to go the other way. There's no option to do that. Oh, well. I tried. Oh, here we go. That's better. But then it's just you facing at the wall. Here we go. Hey! So we got some Red Galaxy Pintos right there on the shrimp stick. This is one of the shrimp sticks provided by Crayfish Empire. Right now we're running a Valentine's Day sale. Spend $50 and put shrimp sticks into the notes, and we will throw in a free one. Other than that, everything is buy 10, get 3 free. So that sale is going until Sunday. We won't be able to ship out any packages on Saturday. We've got a family soccer game to go attend. My cousin is playing soccer down in Tampa, so we're going to go see him because he lives all the way in Michigan usually. So I don't get to see them often, and we're going to be doing that. So everything will be going out on Monday with extras to make up for the wait.
That's Christmas moss in there, by the way. And then Donnie B said, Learned my lesson not to keep rooted plants in aqua soil with shrimp.
Yeah, so I'll talk more about that, especially when we start talking about the ones that have roots. I got a couple more epiphytes to talk about first.
And then Sam says, come to Triple Crown if you want weird stuff. I'm definitely coming to Triple Crown, that's for sure. I've definitely gotten some. Actually, I think Triple Crown, all I did was get a cool Achilles fish book. That's all I got.
No, you definitely got a bunch of Achilles.
Yeah,
all of
but
our-
we're talking weird stuff like stuff around the house, like my weird fish stuff that I keep
Oh,
collecting.
I got some T-shirts.
Yeah, that wasn't. We didn't get the weird ones from there though. Oh yes, we did. We did get one that was like a bass on the back of it. Yeah.
It was a Chuck Davis T-shirt. So.
Continue.
All right, then we've got more epiphytes as Java ferns. I really like Java ferns also. All my epiphytes I really enjoy for the shrimp tanks. Java ferns are great because they have a ton of surface area for biofilm to grow on, and they also make for great surface areas to catch shrimp off of. There's needle leaf that grows extra small. There's narrow leaf that grows thinner and taller than the normal Java ferns, but there are so many more different types. Windlove also gets really small, but it has like these staghorn kind of leaves to them. And then you also have like Thor's hammer is very similar. There's Trident. There are a few other different striations to the leaves and structures and stuff like that. We have a mini Java fern now, and they're definitely great on wood. They look great to fill up the background of aquascapes and stuff like that too. And then we have them in several of our just past recent aquascapes that we've done.
Robert Downey Jr. said, how do you get rid of or prevent that slimy hair algae?
So the slimy hair algae is 100%. It has to do with there's too much lights, you're not doing enough water changes, or you're overfeeding. So you could try and fix all three of those or increase all three of those, and the hair algae should go away. If it doesn't go away, then you might have Cladophora, and Cladophora is only curable with this product called Brightwell Razor. And sadly, it does kill invertebrates, so you cannot use it in shrimp tanks. But if you take the shrimp out, you dose it, kill the algae, do a full water change on the tank, you can put the shrimp back in there. So these are the white dominant fancy red tigers. And then after Java ferns, we have Bulbitis. We've already been talking about that one before. It is one of my favorites. There's a mini variety. It grows super, super slow. And just like the Buce moss, it does tend to grow algae easier, like the hair algae is in it more than it actually grows itself. But the normal Java fern, there's the broadleaf Java fern. Most of the time, the immerse variety Java fern, the broadleaf one, it's very hard to transition. But once you got it going in the tank, it grows just as easy as the other ones. So those are probably my favorite ones. I got the vining one that I talked about. Also, there's a lot of rare ones. There's just the mini and the broadleaf and the normal one that's most common in the hobby.
You know what I need is a suction cup for the phone, so I could just suction cup it back here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because my arm's hurting now. LDH Aquatic said, I'll be back on membership soon, but wanted to say I actually did a Donkey Kong scape yesterday. Sorry. I need proof. You better send me proof. Or we beefing. I'm really interested in that. So cool.
I had a really good Donkey Kong impersonation. I can't remember.
Oh, that's Nathan.
I
bet you better send me a picture. To be honest, hair algae is a great shrimp plant too, right? I actually disagree with this because some of them get stuck. Hi. So, some of the shrimp get stuck in the hair algae. Did I just hit that with my finger? I did.
What'd you do?
I can change it here because I guess I have permissions. My hand's hurting. Sorry.
Here, all good. You want me to hold it? Can you hold the baby? So these are some crystal black shrimp.
Camera's not picking that up too good.
And yeah, no, Shelby's definitely right about the hair algae. In all of our tanks where there's hair algae, that was an issue. The shrimp never really did well, and you'd find dead shrimp caught up in the hair algae every now and then. They're not eating it unless it's dead and dying off. If it's thriving, it's absorbing nutrients and oxygen and taking away from the shrimp.
And then realize I can do it from here. Nathan said he's messing with me. Oh, that's so funny. Sleeper said, "What are the names again, please, of the 2 best shrimp sticks you in the background?"
So whatever the red one is.
Oh, that's that one's doing really good. That's the dragon one, the dragon fruit.
Yeah.
I scared them all off of it, but they were doing good on that one. I don't know what this one was.
It's soybean hull and dragon fruit.
This one's like a lighter green, so it's probably the spirulina on this one. I would assume.
Looks like spirulina, but clean end.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're all one's more powdery. Let's see. Then we got the spirulina, mulberry, and beet. Spirulina and dragon fruit.
But
the bright pink one is soybean hull and dragon fruit.
But in the other shrimp's defense or other shrimp sticks defense, there's not nearly as many shrimp in those other tanks. Like the tangerine tigers on the next tank over, we just sold as many what?
I'm talking to your dog.
Oh, we just sold as many tangerine tigers as like we could out of that tank, and there's still some on it. So then I'll talk about that plant a little bit later also.
This tank?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Hagen Hill Design said, Grant and Shelby, I tried to set up redirect to your stream following ours, but it wouldn't let me. It said I needed your permission. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Someone else was doing that too. We'll have to figure out. I appreciate that a lot. I've never wanted to have someone to have to like say that, so I just never bothered asking anyone.
I forgot how, but if anybody knows how, it's Chattanooga Ed, and I feel like we should be able to get that figured out. Or Jenna.
Jesse said, "How are the new eggs?"
They are good.
They're not really eggs. They're babies.
Yeah, I got paranoid about the adults being in there, and I moved them, and I drained the water level, and they are nice and fat with some Daphnia, and as soon as the Daphnia are gone in the tank, I should have a good amount of brine shrimp going.
Night Owl Clark said, to Trident Java Fern never did really well for me for some reason. We have noticed that it doesn't do good in soft water. I would say it needs like warmer, harder water, but not too hard.
That's the soft water tank, and it's doing really well
it's
there.
Doing okay.
It's just a very slow grower.
I feel like it grows faster. And
a lot of the times, like I've never sold it out of my tank. I get it from the nursery. They grow it immersed, and it's like 50-50 on whether like it grows a little bit in our tanks or not.
Does this turn it? No, it just makes it look more awkward. Does it make them look like they're flying? No, it's just weird. It's just weird. I can't hold it like that anymore. Let's see if I can prop it up against the glass. Look at that. Just for a little bit, you get something.
That looks great.
So Bugsy said, someone told me that the Anubis is potentially poisonous to shrimp. Is that possibly correct? Well, shrimp are not going to eat it. They can't possibly eat it. But if you cut too much Anubis in your tank, it does leach out. No. So there is people that have had that problem.
This is one of the biggest myths.
I'm telling you.
It's not true.
We've never had issues.
There's
but
people
I would
that have been hacking it down in shrimp tanks on the forums talking about how this is BS for so long. I don't believe that to be true.
Yeah, we've never had issues. What is that glare though? Is that a light coming off the couch? That's driving me crazy.
It's the bottom of the chat on your phone.
Oh. Yeah. Back to you.
So those are the epiphytes. Then you also have floaters. I'm not a huge fan of floaters. The Salvinia minima is probably one of the better ones. We've had that going ever since Plansky's house. I do like frogbit, but frogbit's kind of a pain because it'll send down roots all the way into the substrate. So you kind of got to keep those roots trimmed up really nice. Red root floaters are like my absolute favorite, but I can't get them to grow in any of my shrimp tanks because there's too many bubbles, too much flow, and lids on all the tanks. And red root floaters don't like moisture on their leaves at all, or else it'll start deteriorating and melting off.
So Sam, the parents were in there. The babies hatched. I don't know why Grant was freaking out. I mean, they would have been eaten as eggs. But I understand if they wrinkle in front of their face, it's gonna definitely be a problem. But I mean, they hatched.
I'm just gonna play musical neuters.
Yeah, Sam said some philodendrons and pothos can be toxic to shrimp, not Anubias. See, I have the one that's supposed to be toxic for like cats and dogs. I don't have a cat, so I don't worry about it. My dog is way too big to get on the counter to even bother it. But I have this Swiss pothos, and it doesn't seem to have any issues with my shrimp. So back to you.
And then we've got crypts. These are one of my favorite plants that actually have to go into the roots. Right here in this tank, there is a little clump of is that Moya? The name's right there.
That one's
the Pechi. So it's a little bit too close to the front of the glass for me. In another couple of months, the leaves are going to be right up front, and it's going to be blocking view of the tank. In another year or two, definitely before the prime of this tank will be over, those crypts are going to be blocking like completely all of my view of being able to cull or catch any of the shrimp easily out of that aquarium. So I prefer the crypts to go a little bit further back than that. However, that was the only real clump that survived in that tank, and I didn't want to touch it. That was my fault. I left the tissue cultures for too long before using them into that tank. I wanted to get the tank running and cycled and out of that algae stage before I planted them.
What's the next plant you're talking about?
More crypts. This tank right here. So then we have some crypts that we planted into the back of the tank. But as you can see, they've kind of taken over everything. I believe these are the retro spiralis.
No.
The spatula. The spatula.
Crispy. That's what I call it. Crispy.
This crispy spatula.
Crispy
This one's obviously a little bit too big for my 10-gallon tank. It's also sent some runners. It's growing in another one of the tanks, or maybe one of what's this one? Is that one the retro?
No, it's more crispy. The retro was down there.
So it's not really spreading out too much, but if you think I get 3 to 5 years out of some of these shrimp tanks, that one's a year and a half in. But yeah, that one's a different one. That one gets lower light, so it doesn't get nearly as big leaves. However, yeah. So I could easily trim those leaves up to make it easy to catch the shrimp in that tank, but it is a little bit more work. I definitely prefer the Pechi is a good one. The Moya is a great one. The pink flamingo is like 50-50 on whether or not it stays pink or not, but it definitely does stay really small. The compacta is great. The Cryptocoryne lucens are great ones. Also, they get nice and small and compact, and they're also more prone to flower underwater. These can also flower also. There's the Cryptocoryne. Ignore the green water. I don't know why I've done like 300% water changes on it maybe this month, and it's still just green watered. I did throw a bunch of Daphnia in there, but I think the fish got a hold of them way before they started to colonize and get going. So they didn't help clear it up at all either. But I do like the patterns and the colors to these ones, and they don't grow very fast. And like these and the pink flamingos, man, if they overfill your tank and you got to catch all your shrimp and move them out, sell some of the shrimp, sell the crypts, and it'll fund some new aquariums or another one or a bigger tank or something like that. These are great investments for anyone to get started within their aquariums. What do you got next for us? Any more crypts? Can you do the compacta with the newt above the Siluese tank, please? I don't know where she's at. But I am a big fan of this next crypt. It doesn't get very tall. It's going to look very tall in this tank because it is very low light and nutrient deprived in a Caridina. Next one over. Far right. Yeah, that one. Oh, man. What is that, hornwort in that tank? Yeah, I guess it's blocking it out. But it doesn't look that good. I thought it would look way better on camera. I didn't know there's that much hornwort in there. I threw it in there because the newts are in there, and I was giving them some more little things to climb on and work with. But these crypts don't really spread out very much. They kind of clumped up together, so you can easily see that in that photo there. So I really like those ones. Those ones are great to add to a shrimp tank. You plant them, forget about them, put them in the back or put them next to some hardscape. And then again, by the time you have to tear down the tank or something like that, it'll be well worth going through and turning that out. And then we got any more nice ones that are accessible?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the news.
It's so dark on camera.
Aww.
Yeah, you might need it's so dark. You might need the Godox. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that worked.
The light was all the way behind the tank. I don't know how it's gotten that far behind.
So those are the Spanish rib newts, not the ones that are having babies, but I'm pretty sure I can move them into a bigger tank and I'll get some nice babies out of them.
Okay. You want to talk about this one?
So that's a foreground plant. That's the Marsala. I can't remember. Yeah, nobody heard what you said, and I didn't either. But yeah, that's a little clover plant. It doesn't usually grow this nice. It takes a long time for it to get to that quality. But yeah, no CO2, but it really does like the softer water in the Caridina tanks with the aqua soil. Yeah. And then we've got swords. I don't have a lot of swords in the house, but the bigger tanks do really well for swords. They get really big. Is this an Amazon?
Yeah.
So it's definitely stunted, doesn't get a lot of light, and it's not growing to its full potential. However, they do get massive in size. Some of the better ones that I do like for the shrimp tanks are the red Rubens. They don't get nearly as big. There's also like the red flames and stuff like that. Those work as great background plants. But what I like about swords over crypts, though, the smaller ones at least, is that they don't really clump out and spread out and send runners. They more like shoot out and send like a stalk up, and it's a flower stalk that eventually turns into baby plants. So once you get the right size sword in the right place in the aquarium, every now and then there's some dead leaves to it. There's the red Reuben that Shelby's had in that shrimp tank for a while, and you can see that one's a little bit too big. Definitely needs some of the leaves trimmed on it and whatnot, but it was pretty much the right size for 3 or 4 years before it got that big and that quality without CO2 or any real fertilizer and nutrients. And then back to foreground. I already talked about the Monte Carlo, and we talked about the Marcella there. If you want to come back here. We've got the dwarf hairgrass right there growing. And there is a bunch of moss and mini pilia in this tank, but without CO2, it is possible to accomplish a nice carpet of dwarf hairgrass. Probably not the best night to wear that t-shirt. It is causing a lot of glare. But yeah, you can see this is a really nice thick carpet of dwarf hairgrass. I believe this is the Bellamy variety of it. Doesn't get that tall, but yeah, it has completely carpeted this tank. It makes it very hard for me to be able to go through and cull out the shrimp tanks. This is the hooker moss, another great foreground or carpeting plant, and it's very easy to move around, and it doesn't uproot the substrate or anything like that. And then come over here. This is very similar to the Marcello. This is the glostoma. This is actually a lot harder than the Marcella for me to grow. This is the first time I've been successful with it. I definitely want to trim some out of it here and get it going in some other tanks and outside even. The Marsala, or however you pronounce it, outside just grows like massively large clovers, and it's very hard to transition from immersed to submerged. So I'll see how this does outside. And then we have the UG. Oh, we've got some more. This is a different variety of dwarf hairgrass here. There's a bit of algae in it. We were overfeeding the fish in that tank. The fish are gone. It is time to add some more shrimp in there. But that dwarf hairgrass is very, very small. Doesn't get it nearly as thick. Yeah. And then we also have the, here, switch. You take the baby for a second. And then I've got the UG. And I'll let Shelby talk about, oh, what did I just do? Oh, it's still working. Good.
Yeah, okay.
So,
What?
there we go. We've got, you don't want to talk about it?
No.
All right, well.
You tricking like Grandma Folio?
All right, so what she said, this is like a very similar plant to like a, kind of like a cross between dwarf hairgrass and a like microsword. Microsword is also a great one too, but this one is actually carnivorous. And if you can see the little tiny bladders, I don't think you can, but the roots actually have bladders. So it's not really that dangerous to the shrimp. I think it is in this setting, right? Because the roots are kind of free floating. So I definitely need to trim this down. But there also is a bunch of shrimp that climb underneath the substrate. So I don't fully recommend this 100% for like breeding out shrimp tanks and stuff like that. But the tangerine tigers seem to be doing just fine in there. And I do really like the look of this. It can actually grow on wood and stuff like that too. and nice clumps of it look absolutely phenomenal in a lot of aquascapes. So um, that's one of my favorite foreground plants, but not necessarily something I recommend for shrimp breeding tanks. Um, and then we've got stem plants. There's a lot of different stem plants behind me. These are all very slow growing Liverworts. I've also got like all the way up in this tank. I just trimmed it down and hacked it down for a recent aquascape at one of the past shows. Um, so it's not that tall, but there are a lot of different stem plants that stay shorter. AR Mini is a great one, but uh, there's a lot of them that you don't have to really mess with. But these guys, what I did was I started them with tissue culture cups, and I really overplanted the back of the aquarium. And then after that, I maybe hacked it down once or twice when I need plants. But I don't ever uproot it. I don't ever replant it or anything like that. I just went super thick in the back with it, so that way I never had to worry about it. There's the high grow I was talking about. The other ones are Liverworts. There's ways to do stem plants in shrimp tanks, and as you can see, the front of the tank is clear, so I can drop a piece of food in there. I can call the shrimp and make sure just the best of the blue bolts are in that aquarium, so that way I can focus on selective breeding. I'll probably have like a little clump of moss or something like that in that tank, but maybe not, because if you look up top, we've got the Buce floating, and it's doing really well. So maybe one day I'll drop a clump of that Buce down the bottom to give them like a little clump to hang out in the middle of the tank. One of my all-time favorite stems is the Hygrophila pinidifida or pinifiliata or pinata, or however you want to say it. But we've definitely grown it several different ways. It's a little finicky. We can't really ever grow it enough to like sell it out of our aquariums because it is slow growing. So a lot of times we get it from the nurseries, and it's growing immersed, and it's like a 50-50 shot on transitioning it to submerged growth. But once you do get it growing, you can grow it out of the soil, you can grow it onto wood, and it's got a really cool leaf structure and some really pretty colors to it also.
So Zen said UG died when I tried it without CO2. Never could get it to work, but I haven't tried it with CO2. Yeah, I think you have to have softer water for the UG. I just believe that's the only way you're going to be able to grow something like that. And the aqua soil provides so much nutrients in that tank. And said it's a carnivorous plant, isn't it? Doesn't it eat shrimplets? So that one is just a
The bladders are on the
Yeah.
roots. I talked about how some of the shrimp can kind of climb underneath the substrate.
Oh, he just said
food.
that.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, there's so many different forms of Utricula gramifolia. Like, there's so many different colors. Like, I'm still on the hunt for purple and blues because it's like super rare. But yes, I love UG is so beautiful. I just hate that it is carnivorous. I hope to do like a whole carnivorous tank one day of all aquatic. Someone's done it before. Someone's got one. I just don't remember.
And then there's Giba. And Giba is also a carnivorous plant, and it's very thin and stringy. Grows throughout the tank, like in the moss and the filters. Very hard to get rid of. That's definitely something you don't want in your aquariums. The UG, though, I'll let slide.
And then Aquatic Moose said, I've had the hardest time with Hygropenidifida.
It's a love-hate battle for myself also.
Yeah. Some tanks love it, and other tanks, same parameters, and it's just like, eh.
One of my favorite tanks that I had it growing with, and it was pretty much like the centerpiece of the house. It was what you saw when you first walked in the house, and it was on top of the refrigerator. I had a 20-gallon long, and it was pretty much the background plant for it. and it was growing on all the wood, and I would harvest it out of it and use it for all of my aquascaping contests. And then we tore down that tank so that way we can put more tanks up on the top of the fridge, and it didn't transition into the new parameters that I went into, and I lost it. I do have it growing a little bit in the farm tanks, but those aren't permanent either, and I'm scared I'm going to lose those too. So it's just a matter of time.
So, thank you, Stephen P, for the gifted Garden of Eden memberships. To want to come out, it's like, Thank you so much. If you did get gifted a Garden of Eden membership, what?
You got his mug. Did you show his mug?
In just a second, man. Can you
sorry.
keep on task here?
No, ADHD has got me bad. I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Steven.
Just email thegardenofeater@gmail.com to get your membership-only sticker and your membership discount. But thank you so much, Stephen P. Kenny, we haven't seen you in so long. I think that's what threw Grant all off. And the fact that Grant got me the mug tonight to drink from, it was just fate. So thank you and welcome in. That's so funny.
I missed you at the last clash, man.
Yeah. And then, sorry, it's right here. Johnny said, if fish are kept with shrimps, whether moss or any needle stem plants, I think they like more than broad type.
I think they like hiding out in it, but when it comes to grazing, you might not notice it, but they'll definitely eat off of anything. So I don't think they're too picky when it comes to biofilm in it growing on surfaces.
Pagan Hill Design said River's finding her voice too screeching now. Yeah, Myra does that once in a blue moon, minus Myrasaur Roar. That's a good name. We might have to call her Myrasaur. That's so cute. Minnie's Dart Frogs and Critters got gifted membership. I've never seen that name before. That's so cool. I love dart frogs. We have 2 tanks that are supposed to be for dart frogs one day.
Well, one's supposed to be for pygmy chameleons.
Sam, if you have the purple and blue grammofolia, I will be in awe because it is literally like the most rare color flower for them to have. And like, I don't know, maybe up there it's like a little bit better. And Kenny said he'll be at the next one. Can't wait to see you there. And if Pisces isn't sponsoring the escape contest, hopefully I can get in this time. I doubt it. Everyone's so quick with the get in. I'm over here like, it's like a last minute thing for me. That's the used mug you'll get with lipstick around. That's funny. Oh, did you see the lipstick all over it? Yeah. But I have to go show Johnny the tank with my fish and my shrimp. But continue.
All right, so then we have I pretty much covered all the plants. That was everything on my list. So Grant, if I kept fish, was Shelby showing off? Oh, she's showing off. They're probably all lurking. She says she promises there's shrimp in there. I'm not talking to you. But that is one of her old escape tanks that she has going. She's got some tiger endlers in there. And there's a lot of different Bovitis and Anubias. And there's some Cryptocoryne parva on the bottom floor. And some Cryptocoryne spiralis in the background, as well as those roots are from some monstera. And then there's some weeping moss going down the 2 trees. And I've cut some of it out of that tank already and put it into my ponds outside. All right, so Johnny said, Grant, if fish are kept with shrimps, whether moss or any needle stem type plant. I think, oh, we already did this. All right, moving on. Oh, have you guys ever dealt with water meal? I just can't seem to get it out of a few tanks. Water meal? I don't know what water meal is. I'm going to have to look that up. I don't have my handy dandy co host here to look it up. No. It's like super, super tiny duckweed. Or, oh, it's called rootless duckweed. I mean, I might have a mix of that and duckweed and other stuff in some of the tanks. Like, some of them I don't even try to like go near because there's just so much duckweed in it. So the goal this year is not to get rid of all the duckweed in the house, just not to have any more duckweed in any of the tanks. She's asleep.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at her.
It's like me. Your voice just puts me to sleep. It's a good thing.
I soothed her. Everybody saw it on the stream.
Yeah.
I was working
She is
and
out like a light.
petting her and
petting her. Did you just say that?
yeah. I did.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know what else to say. It. There's not a lot of hair up there, so I can't say like I was rubbing her head. All right.
No.
The lack of sleep is getting to me. But
yeah.
We're here. We're an hour and 6 minutes in before I made a mistake. It's all good.
Scotty said, let's get Pisces to do a speaker sponsorship for Shelby and get Shelby to enter in the skate competition. That'd be cool. Can duckweed get more ruthless? Probably.
The duckweed that I have in the blue velvet tank is actually pretty nice. It gets really big. It's easy to handle. I probably could get it rid of all the out of the tank and no problem if I just like remove some of the moss out of there too. But I actually kind of like it. Like I'm probably gonna grow it out of that tank and start selling it to shows.
ABC says bladderwort is a carnivorous aquatic plant. Correct. Yes. That's the worst one. I hate bladderwort because of the way it grips onto everything.
That's
it's like
Giba.
hard. Oh.
Bladderwort is Giba. Giba is a bladderwort.
Yeah, why would you say that then? Like I was wrong.
Because we already talked about it. I already talked about Giba. That's why I said it.
You were saying it like I was wrong.
No.
And you were driving me crazy.
You're wrong.
Did you show pipework plants earlier? If so, tell me more. I don't think we did have the. I think you called it out. The Eriocalum. I think that's what you were thinking. Pipework. I'd have to look it up now. Maybe we do have some sort of.
I don't think so.
Eriocalum.
Oh. Yeah, we have some Erios in the farm tank. But we were more showing off the
Right. Did you want to? Yes, Eero. They're right. Yeah, we have a bunch of it in the farm tanks.
If you watch
this year, like crazy.
If you watch our Aqua L tank that we set up, we have those Eros in that tank.
One of my biotopes for the Florida State Fair last year had some, and the year before that one had more of it in it. But yeah, there's a bunch of that. That we're lucky that actually grows native to Florida, so we are not using CO2. Grant had CO2 tabs at one point, but no, he doesn't have CO2 currently running in that.
They're growing really well outside in the ponds too, and Lucas was really impressed. He was like, "I can't believe they're growing like this in the ponds."
I mean, it's Florida; they better grow. I mean, that's exactly how they're grown outside. I mean, a bunch of water. There's no filtration. It's just the sun and the water and soil. If I was just to go grab the dirt from that area, I'd probably grow them like crazy. Sam said, Shelby, I asked who the best scapers are for an article I'm doing, and you got mentioned first on every comment where Grant was also mentioned. I made a joke today, and I looked at him because we were talking about aquascaping, and I was like, you're an aquascaper? You're irrelevant. See, I make all these jokes, but trust me, he's 10 times worse to me when we're not on stream.
I am not.
Oh, yeah, act so innocent.
But I think there's some trophies up there, though. I might have to go get down here soon.
I'm glad you put. See, there he is. There, it's leaking out. Here, Callum has some beautiful species
The next
for
live
sure.
stream, there's just 3 trophies. Just like,
So petty, and they're all his. None of them mine. You know, you should have said, well, who'd you learn aquascaping from?
Yeah. Somebody made a comment, and I just wanted to comment, beat them both, but no, couldn't do it.
I know, he constantly beats me, too. Someone's going to clip that.
That's what I'm thinking.
She admitted it. It's so funny. Nathan said, I missed a chunk of the stream. I was just messing with you on the Donkey Kong game. I'm definitely making it regardless. I was just joking. But like, that was one of my favorite childhood video games to play at daycare. That I just can't wait to recreate. You have to follow me. If you're not following me I posted like on all the social media. So like I will post. I need to start posting more of the shorts to YouTube. I just forget to do that last because it's just my videos. Like I just feel so weird.
Oh, by the way, anybody that is a Chiefs fan, you can blame Shelby for the Chiefs losing because 100% she did the little scape thing. And when the Eagles tank came out nicer, Jaden goes, Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl because the tank's nicer. And I was like, dang, Shelby, you did it.
I know.
Then everybody said the Eagles tank also looked better in the video. And then the Eagles won. And I was like, Shelby, it's just because of your tank. It honestly is. So, Chattanooga Ed, if you're mad at anybody,
don't.
The dude dyes his hair red. You couldn't have done better for his tank. You couldn't have done better for his tank. I
think it was beautiful. So stop being. That
I
actually
even
had more
told
plants
her. I
in
even
it.
told her.
It had so much more
I even told her it
plants.
looked bad. Like compared to the other tank that she had and the other angle, and I said she should switch it and do it the other way, and she didn't change it. You're the reason.
Thank you very much.
I didn't like the one rock. The one rock sucked.
You know what? I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, and you stop being mean to me.
We have so much nice dragon stone out there.
That one was
did you dirty, Ed?
Detailed. You don't understand how much flat dragon stone we have that looks like that. I'll go out with you. That's what we're doing after the live stream. We're going to go spend 10 minutes. I'll show you how detailed that rock is.
You know what? Let me save you some time.
This is what our relationship
tomorrow,
couple arguments are about, is the better rock in the relationship.
Tomorrow I'm going on that side of the house and I'm cleaning it up and I'm moving all the tanks out of the garage.
You heard it here, folks.
Onto the side of the house.
You heard it here. I have proof, video proof.
I've been slacking off.
Aquatic Moose said Grant is the biggest.
I've been spending more time with the baby.
Biggest up and coming Oscar. Shelby's a veteran. This is so funny because Grant's actually the veteran. I'm just the new up and coming, I find that funny. I think it's just because I put so much more videos out than you because you don't want to put them together. There's going to be an entire
row of ribbons. All of my best of shows. All of my first place for the professional aquascaping category.
Gosh.
And then I'll put Shelby's slightly lower of the planted aquascaping category, okay?
Oh my gosh.
And that bothers her every single year. But bill does that because it fills out the categories.
John said, I have some water tang I ordered from you.
Does it make your heart sing?
Stop. Free floating. An aqua soil tank. I have somehow it never likes me. Might be your water parameters. But usually tends to like softer water.
Doesn't like a lot of light.
Yeah, if you have too
It
much
does
light,
really
it's
good in low
awful.
light, and it does really good with a lot of water changes. You got to do your water changes. Bigger the better.
Grant is innovative.
I'm gonna have to
the
start.
artiste in the building that splashes the paint on the canvas, and someone goes, "Innovative." It is speaking to me. I'm just
You're
kidding.
gonna have to start relying
I love
on
it.
Layla soon for creativity, though.
When I tell you something, he's like, "I don't understand you at all." I explained it that it was just not crazy, unique ideas. Yes, he will come up with something crazy. Blink twice if you need help shopping. I'm trying so hard not to blink twice.
All it was doing was blinking twice.
That's so good. Oh man. Fly eagles fly. Yeah, people are really they were really about this football. Someone already commented on the one on YouTube about it and was like upset that I did a video. And I'm like, I don't even watch the Super Bowl. Like,
the guy
I
was
used to watch it for the commercials, but like they've just been getting out in left field, which I'm glad I missed all of them this year because they are in left field, But
the guy commented, "How could you waste your time watching a bunch of men and guys play around on the field or something like that?" And I go, "Sir, these are dwarf freshwater shrimp, not men and guys." I never got a response.
I gave something different for people, like the Super Bowl trend. Everyone's thinking about the Super Bowl right now, so I thought it'd be funny to do a tank off,
Shelby does all
and obviously it worked. Obviously the Eagles won.
Shelby does all the average most of the comments, and then there's just some, and she's like, "I just don't know how to answer this question."
I didn't know how to say anything back.
Leave it to me.
Oh. Jenna said, I think we should still somehow blame Grant. Shelby is blameless. That's good. Will you be doing a March Madness tank? See, I have no idea what March Madness is.
It's football. I mean,
basketball. I know it's basketball, but I have no idea about basketball. If I'm going to do anything for March Madness and basketball, I don't know if that has to do anything with Caitlin Clark, but obviously as a woman, she's the only thing I was interested in when basketball. And of course, that's very controversial, but she is.
But nobody cares
awesome.
about that. That's not going to be part of March Madness.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what that is.
It would be cool if the University of Florida was in one of the finals, and then you could do a University Gator tank and use Tangerine Tigers and Blue Ocean Blues. And you could do things like that, but yeah, it all depends, I guess, who's the final team.
Yeah, someone would have to help me out with that. I don't watch sports. I only know the Super Bowl because I grew up watching it, but not really watching it. Taylor Swift's gonna call me. How dare you? Dragonstone for Valentine's Day. Nope, I do have a Valentine's Day video coming out. But I am not spoiling this one. This one's going to be fun. No Dragonstone, though. I love Dragonstone, but I'm going to have way too many Dragonstone videos this year with my new rack and everything that everything else has got to be not Dragonstone.
You're going to spoil it. It's... No.
Were you even listening to me?
Yeah. I know exactly what kind of stone you're going to be using.
No. I might change it
I know down to the sand.
I didn't even talk about the sand.
Yes, but I know it. I already know it.
No.
I know your favorite sand, and you're going to use it. How are you not going to use it?
Because it's not going to go with the color palette. Mm-hmm.
She's going to end up using it.
I will watch the baby and Grant can do the work.
Who said that?
I heard you beat Shelby Grant. Uh, Shelby gets the cold shoulder from Ed until next Super Bowl. That would hurt my feelings. Yeah, redwood floaters are really hard to keep alive, especially with any flow, honestly. Some of our ponds like do phenomenal with them, and then some do awful and stuff. Grant is better at gluing rocks to the back of the glass. No, he's not. Actually, I had to help him. So I have
I'm very bad at that, to be honest. Wood?
Yeah.
I can do that. Rocks? I failed tremendously at the last aqua shelter, so.
Grant is going to make himself a giant acrylic trophy and make a shrimp tank out of it. That would be cool, honestly. He has so many awards. I barely have any. You're just so weird.
It's distracting you.
I'm glad you made it safe, Dr. Anthony. He's traveling from Peru. You both need to enter the ILAPC, PLCs, or you're both just amateurs. It really is true. Like, honestly, no one's taken any respect to me or Grant. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that respect my aquascaping, but in the aquascaping community, I seem to be shunned really hard. Like, there's people that are, even in your post, that hurt my feelings because they know us and they didn't mention either one, me or Grant, because they don't revere us as professionals, because we don't set up tanks for long. We do contest tanks, which, like, we're competitive people. That's just what we are. We're big sports people. We grew up doing sports and competitiveness. So,
but Sam, if you could just like clarify that with my accountant and the U.S. IRS services, because I had to claim how much money I made off aquascaping last year. And at that point, you're no longer amateur. So I don't care how many contests I did. But it's on the papers now. It's on the books. I have to say I'm professional.
I had to keep asking him today. I was like, okay, so I can tear this tank down? Or can I tear this tank down? Because I want my competition tank. That was supposed to be my competition tank. And he decided to take all 3 tanks for himself for plants.
That's why tomorrow I'm getting ready to clear out the garage, making room so we can move the tanks into the garage, and I can build a stand, and we can buy a new refrigerator before. We have to upgrade all the appliances, because once I build the next stand, there's no getting any new appliances in. Like this, there's no room to get anything in through our front door. As it is, I have to move this stand that I already built. But it's just holding plants. There's no rock in it. Drain all of it down to the bare bone, move it, get the fridge in, get the fridge out fridge out, fridge in scenario.
I need to get these done by May.
All right. Well, you know what?
Just the one.
Definitely doable.
This one specific is going to take me at least a month to get it to mature.
What's May?
ILAPC.
Oh.
Or, yeah, and then AGA's later in the year. But ILAPC is, the tanks are due in May.
Okay. Well, I'm just letting you know.
So.
Maybe think about it next year.
No. I said that last year.
You should have your tank more mature. It's not enough time.
I'm ripping your tank apart tonight.
Nope.
The kids will surpass you both. If they find, like, our kids like to do things in the moment. They don't care about it after that. My daughter even has, like, both their tanks are set up, like, great to bring to the Florida State Fair. We didn't get to this year, but Layla wants to do a whole brand new tank. She doesn't even want to re-enter the same tank that's now matured and has plants in it. You're driving me crazy.
It's just distracting you. When I was doing my talk for Sabu's show, I had the girls in the way back, and they're dancing and distracting me, and they thought they were cheering me on, and I thought the whole time they're purposely trying to distract me and get me to bomb and mess up, but knocked it out of the park flawlessly.
Bugsy said, tank off was awesome. The football hype is lame. See, I enjoy sports. I'm not a big person on watching them, but, like, to each their own. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with someone enjoying something that gets their mind off of the stupid, mundane task of life, like, to each their own. We, some of us like watching cartoons, like, it's just, everyone has their own flavor. So I'm going to try to appease every category that I can. and get people to enjoy the nature that I create for my tanks in every broad aspect. So if I can bring someone from football over to watching aquascapes, I'm going to try. And then Zen says, I'm going to start funneling all my important life questions to Shelby and have her run them past the tanks. Fortune teller. Now I gotta find a globe and make a fortune teller tank.
What kind of car should I buy? Do a Toyota tank and then do a Ford tank.
Boots and Cats said watch Shelby's tanks videos before placing your bets, folks. Now I gotta get little bingo balls. We can really go with this. Lotto numbers. We got a lot to go with. That would be insane if I won someone the lotto because they took the numbers off the tank. That would be crazy.
If you count the grains of sand, that is the numbers.
AI had picked the Eagles, therefore Shelby is AI. It just happened to end up being a really, really nice tank. That mountain Serious Stone and Mountain Stone are just too, like, they're too clean. So when you do like a tank, it's just, no matter what, it always looks clearer than a Dragonstone tank. I mean, like, I don't care how much I've washed Dragonstone or filtered the tank or put in chemicals. Like, the Serious Stone will always look crystal clear. It's like it somehow filters the water somehow. It just looks so cool. I don't know. Stephen B. I think it's nice that Shelby let the guy next to her display a few trophies in her house. These are so funny because I really don't have that many at all. And like Grant's got like 2 or 3 bins full of trophies. We're like shuffling through and I'm like, oh, Grant. Oh, there's one for me. I started winning Aquashella ones. You know why? Because Grant stopped doing tanks, so I could do them.
I don't think I've ever won a creator's challenge.
Oh, I did. I won.
No, I did win one.
Did you?
I think I won one.
We're gonna have to figure that out. We'll have to go through the trophies. We have them all stored away because when we move, that's when we'll have it like all displayed and have fun with it. Friends don't let friends glue scheme. Yeah, I had to help him with his last tank with the mountains because it wasn't staying and he was getting so frustrated. And I was like, all right, let me help you. You need 4 hands for this. Like, let me just hold it for you.
Somebody stepped on one of my islands and destroyed it.
Didn't you step on your own island?
I did that too.
After you burned your foot?
But like somebody, I rebuilt it and then
Grant's an absolute mess. If you just heard that one sentence after he like destroyed things, he couldn't get it to glue. The fact that
I tried to do stuff that I never tried before in 13 hours a time. Okay. Not everybody can do something on Friday and then go, oh, I'm just going to do something totally different on Saturday and whip something out of nothing and make it look good still, okay?
With a baby.
And
Grant's over there burning his foot.
To be fair, there was a lot of construction work that went into my piece, okay?
It still looked cooler than mine. I'm pretty sure yours ranked higher than mine anyways. Mine was like on the lowest totem pole for that tank. Sam said, I can ship some spectacular Tombar El Jefe stone if you want. Is that the other stuff that we're talking about that I have on the counter? Which one is that one? What's it look like? I gotta know.
No. That's the stone that me and Chance were talking about. And yeah, I would love some of that. I think that stone.
No, I'm so mad.
With the honeycomb would be like crazy.
Oh, you gotta send me a picture. I got a lot of different stone that I need to aquascape with.
Shelby tried to take some of my wood yesterday or the other day. I was like,
your wood?
No way. Yeah, my wood.
It's actually my wood.
It's not your wood.
Let's not get technical here.
It's not your wood. That's why did you ask for permission?
I didn't ask for permission.
You did.
No.
We got denied. You ain't touching it.
I was being nice
Because you know
when I
it's
could
not
just
good.
use it.
No.
Oh, Hagen Hill Design says, we have a fluval canister filter and spray bar and our 75 with red roots and they do well. That's crazy. That's cool. I got to see that. Send a rocket to Mars and bring back a sample and use that for an aquascape. I would 100% do that.
We've got
that.
some moon rocks.
Is that in that little tiny bag?
Yeah,
Those
3
little
of
tiny
them.
3 rocks. They're so cool though. Shun the non-believers. Shun Charlie.
You have a nice man.
I swear that is like that is like the basis of my life. Is that Charlie? Charlie. Sorry. I can't even focus now. That's all that's playing in my head.
What did Sam say? We can have Harley make what? Bring it up.
We can have Harley make a trophy for Grant that says greatest scaper husband ever. I'm sending that to Harley right now. That is great. She thinks it's funny. Oh my god. Mini dark
You can make Shelby a trophy that says second greatest skater in the house.
Layla beats me sometimes though. Oh,
No.
I got out of the fish hobby to start doing dart frogs, but I've recently gotten back into the fish hobby again. I just moved, so got a lot more space. Awesome. Rock on. Love that. We had done dart frogs and then fish too. And hopefully we'll get back into dart frogs one day. Yeah, unfortunately, I wish we could do shrimp. Yeah, asking if they did shrimp with or fish with the frog, but dart frogs are stupid for some reason. They'll drown in like more water. I've seen them in some like people put them in terrariums and stuff or paludariums, but it's like if they fall in, they can drown. I don't know if it's something to do with like maybe they got smile at me. I don't know why they drowned. It's a 3-foot rimless tank here at Rescue, but it is solid ice inside because it froze. That's crazy. Or is it like on purpose?
And Dr. Anthony Ismay, yes.
GNC Aquatics said, you go, Grant. I remember when I used to drive my wife crazy. Did she drive away? Thank you, Sam. Yes. See, that one's a harder one for me. I have a tank for AGA, like in my mind, ready to go. I got to do it. I have the substrate for it. I still need to get the specific inhabitants. I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil the tank. And I have to find the specific rock that I'm looking for because it's kind of hard to find. It's not something you'd normally buy for an aquascape. So, but the IA PLC, thank you. That one's going to be a whole different. Grant's got a cool like idea going, but I have my idea. Oh, I have my tank. I forgot, and I remembered exactly what I want to do. But I am getting new rock from Pisces for that tank, and then I have to piece together the main centerpiece. It's going to take me quite a bit. So. Shrimp games would be the best. We should host shrimp
Take
games
her for a second. She's
instead of squid games. Shrimp games. You have to, but all the games are shrimp questions. We're gonna do that live stream at the end of the year. It's gonna be shrimp games, and that'd be good. And like people can win prizes. That'd be fun. Would that be fun, guys?
Sorry, I had a message Dan's fish because I know Dr. Anthony was the speaker for May.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, Dan's Fish is April because I read the message and I was like, wait a second, our annual auction is April. And I was like, I didn't double book that. And then I realized, no, there's another message down that I said March, not April. And he agreed to it. So Dan's Fish is our speaker for next month.
Ah, okay.
So I do go my button to get the house nice and clear for him.
Yep. You both want a creator's challenge. Cat. Me. I know I won. It's my favorite tank to this day still. And that actually, the creator's challenge, that tank sparked my design. Most people, if they see that tank and they see my work from then on out, you can tell it's my work because of the dragonstone work. Like, if I do that in any aquascape, like, even if the judges weren't there, they probably know it's mine. Did Grant burn his foot on a waffle maker? No. What are those things called?
So it's a hot plate, and I was using it to cook thermoplastic. And you don't have to get it very hot, but when the water level goes from this high to that low, it gets pretty warm. And then I kicked it over, and it spilled on my silk. And I got it off pretty fast, but I had to walk around for a while without a sock on.
Yeah.
Or shoes. I guess it's normal though, because we were in Florida, so.
So Aquaterra and Serpa have done videos. Is that what you're saying? I don't know what HIPAA means.
What?
Aquaterra and Serpa have HIPAA videos.
I don't know.
And have lots of it. So I don't know.
I'll take her back now.
That's pretty harsh. Oh. Default Scaver Award. How much does IAPLC pay?
I think first place
is
is like $25,000 to $75,000 American.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous in theirs because it's like 10,000 won or something. Is that how they do that? Because it's Japanese,
yen?
right? Yen. What's won from?
I don't know.
That's hilarious. It started with a Y. That's what I was. No, I think that's whatever. You know what I meant. Thank you. It's quite a bit though. It's very prestigious award.
Maybe first is 75. Second is
places
50. No, I think there's like 10 places they get paid out. Actually, I'm not sure. It's a good amount. CChem has one that's like a $30,000 first place prize. I think AGA is like $30,000 first place. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly.
I can't look it up that fast. Pumice rocks that float. That's cool. I'm in for shrimp games. We're doing it. We're gonna do one at the end of the year and play shrimp games instead of squid games. And then people got to answer questions and get eliminated. And then the winner.
We're also gonna do some videos where you guys can send your shrimp tanks in, maybe videos or just photos, and we'll rate them and critique them. It would also help if you sent us like water parameters and stuff like that. But I forgot how you called it, like viewer.
I can't remember either. It was oh my goodness. We'll have to post about it. We'll make a post on Facebook and on YouTube so you can see too. So just be all of you viewers. I can't remember. But it's just pictures of your tank and we talk about it and what we would do different or if we enjoy it. And things like that for fun or
But
funsies.
maybe we'll have an award for the best tank,
That'd be cool.
and then we'll have an award for the worst tank, because that's the person that needs it the most.
I'll send y'all an award. Sam says, give me about 3 weeks. I'll send it with your next batch of shrimp art prints. That'd be great. That's so funny. And then Sam said, hit me up for a crazy cool off-the-grid scaping idea. Will I die if I get the answer wrong? No. Oh yeah, Kenny, I don't think you've seen the baby. It's the baby. It's Myra. So IAPLC is all around the world. Yeah, it's online only.
But I think it's a
entries.
Japan contest.
Yes.
I believe so.
Korea?
No. I believe
That's
it's
way wrong.
because
I'm
ADA
so bad
is
with
out of
names.
Japan.
I'm pretty sure it's Japan. And then they do like a whole video. It's like an hour long. There's YouTubes of it because they do it live. And it's long where they announce the winners. They talk about it, the different categories. It is insane. Welcome, Joey, the king of DIY. Said first place is 10K Canadian.
What's
That's-
that for?
I'm assuming IPLC.
I'm not sure.
So we must be
I thought it
wrong.
was more than that, though.
Baby eater just chewing on it. Sam says, your awesome tank at the Natural Environmental Aquatics was the pinnacle inspired by your Creator's Challenge winner. Yes. Yep. And it just keeps on going from there. Like, I don't think I can get away from that Dragonstone issue.
I would have liked to
I
see that
just
tank planted.
That one, yeah. Oh, that would have been so cool. It would be fun to recreate that at Ronnie's store because I know he was talking about doing an aquascape. So it would be crazy to do like a giant version. It's already a big enough tank, but like even bigger. I would enjoy that. Even like maybe multiple trees and then planting it all up. That would be so much fun. Steven said, I didn't even know there was a prize. I assumed it was Eternal Glory. And yeah, no, there is a prize. That one is like the most prestigious online contest. That's why you get so much more out of that, you know? That's why people respect you a lot more. Signed a contract, I know.
But what was that for the IAPCL? That's what we were talking about a few different contests there. It's 1 million Japanese yen. So that equates to 10,000 Canadian.
That's crazy. I do want some dumplings now. So I got distracted. I saw the short videos you did for Halloween. I'm not sure if that was serious or not. I don't know if you're talking to me or them. Last year, 10 Canadians entered and under 354 Americans. I'll be changing that this year. 35 nothing. Only 35 Americans? There's no way there was only 35. Was it really? 354 seems more realistic to me. I'm going to be top 100 North America.
I don't know that many
Good luck.
aquascapers, honestly, in America that are even like that serious. So, I mean, we're kind of that serious and we don't even participate. So.
What?
I said, we're that serious and we don't even participate. So.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little hard. Some people just don't even have like the right equipment. Just the camera, just taking the photos alone, kind of get people scared. So like, it would be nice to be able to top in the top 100 and just like take my photos on my phone, you know, and just like aquascape. Like that would be awesome. Like just to be able to encourage other people to enter and like enjoy it, you know? Is there a freescaping category? No glue, no plastic, natural only, IPLC.
Just about every contest there is.
Yeah. It's not gonna get very high.
But like no glue, that's not really a rule in any contest that I know.
Yeah.
Everybody allows glue, but there's points off if you have
You
glue
see it.
showing and stuff like that. So you want everything to be completely natural looking for sure.
I would say that more natural looking tanks typically do better. You have to have like, I know that the winners for like the past couple years have been controversial to say the least. I absolutely love Matthew Maine's tank, which is more, to me it looks natural because there is a lot of caverns and things like that that do have like a lot of striations that are really like even.
But like that was the winner last year. I can't even remember
I thought
who
it was
won
the year
this year.
before.
Oh, it was.
I don't know who
person
won
that
this
won this
year.
year. There was like a tree one.
It was trees, yeah, which were beautiful.
It was
So,
cool, but like
more
Matthews
natural.
was way more memorable, way more impactful.
Yeah.
I think.
I won't ever forget it.
But like the winners are usually the ones that have the most layers. So I'm sorry, you're not comfortable with me. Regardless of whether it's a natural looking aquascape or not, if you have the dimensions and you have the layers, those are the ones that tend to score the highest.
It's all open and free to enter. Yep. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like, just take your shot. There's, you got to do it. I got all numbers. Wasn't even 50 North Americans that entered last year. That's crazy. Like, I would just think that there's so many more in. We're always so just step behind on all of the other people, just like shrimp.
But
it's
like,
the same thing.
You
We're
think about
step behind.
how many people were at AGA. Probably every single person that entered in the contest was there, and there's still under 200 people.
That's true.
And a lot of them don't have the time and the space and the dedication to do that. That's our issue: is time, space, and dedication.
Plants.
I don't think the plants is the problem.
I think it is. I think a lot of people just do
not
awful.
For us. I mean, my tank's going to be mostly moss, and I don't have an issue with that at all.
Yeah. Mike's, yes, that Halloween video was a joke. We did not leave that bucket out for people to take shrimp. That was purely just for fun. I had seen a lot of people doing it for fish. Like, someone did it for like crayfish and something else, and I was like, it'd be so funny to do shrimp, and we were like, let's do it. And I literally did that on Halloween day, which was astronomical because we had not only we were in Daytona setting up for Aquashella, came home, then went trick-or-treating with the kids. Like, so I set that up. We went to Daytona, came home, went trick-or-treating, and drove back to Daytona, and all in one night and one day. That was insane. I was so tired. Yeah. And Joey says it's all facts. That's crazy. Yeah. You don't need to win. You need to rank in your country. It's free to enter. Yep. A 700-gallon. Oh, arowana tank. That's cool. That would be awesome. Trend each year. Hey, Stephen P., your tank's actually pretty cool. I know it's not like technically aquascaped, but it's still beautiful to look at. And if you see some of the other people, there's a lot of people that enter their tanks that, I mean, it looks like their first fish tank they've ever set up in their life. So I would enter it. I mean, who cares?
Steven, you have zero excuses not to be the king of Dutch tanks.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're just so good with plants.
I don't know why the Dutch tanks aren't like insane that are entered. Like the one in the AGA contest, the Dutch tanks were not that great. And I think if you dedicated a tank to making a Dutch tank, I think you could easily win that one. Because I feel like I have a shot at it. And I'm not even using CO2.
Joey said, to be the best in Canada, be 10 people. To be best in America, be best out of 35. Y'all too worried. I'm not worried. I just need the tank set up. So we previously didn't have the right size tank. And now we do. And then someone decided to put all plants in it.
Well, also, it has to be in a spot where you don't take photos of it. It can't be shared online. Like, there's rules
Like, I don't
to
want
it.
to enter and not win. Like, honestly, got to be the best. Watch too much Pokemon growing up. And then not only Pokemon, but obviously, if you ain't first, you're last. Like, we live by that in this household. Trust me.
Well, we're both entering. There's at least going to be one loser.
You know, it ain't gonna be me. Sabotage your tank. Kenny says the 2 years at the Clash, the Aquascaping winners were a bit controversial. Leave me alone, Kenny. That competition scape with the mirror at the bottom to represent water underwater was so cool. I don't know which one that is. I've seen that done a couple times, which is really cool. Sam. No one knows these numbers. I'm telling everyone. They usually do. They release like the top 10 in each region.
Country,
yeah, so we knew that much. I didn't realize that was just that low of people entering. That's cool though. It's not cool, but it's like it makes me feel better. Like I might have a better chance.
Less than 1,500 people last year. I thought there was like 3,000 people that entered them every year. But last year, I haven't seen any numbers from last year.
Yeah, last year we weren't. Because I know the year before it was so many. Because I got down to like, I go through like the whole list of people. And, you know, like I said, some of the tanks, I mean, they look like their first tank they've ever sat up. Like, there's like a few stem plants and a piece of wood in it. And I enjoy those. They still look really pretty. Just a side mission for you.
Well, hopefully the studio gets cracking this week. I've got water changes I got to get ready for Dan's fish and everything primed for the house to get ready, but I'm going to start knocking it out. I've taken
have a good night, Joey.
my vacation off, and it's time to get back at it. You have a good night, man.
Julian said a lot of aquascaping influencers probably can't handle not being able to share the tank process before the contest. You have no idea how much that's gonna struggle for me, because like I've already talked about it with a couple people of like what I'm doing, but like not being able to share it is gonna drive me crazy. My one tank for AGA is not gonna be a problem. Like it's not that interesting till it's done and said and like up and running. But the other one is, I'm like super stoked if I can achieve what I'm trying to achieve. So, Pokemon is about the journey to become the very best. Ash doesn't start off as the best and still competes. I started off terribly, honestly. One of my first I did one of my first competitions I entered, but like that's not fair. It is a cute tank, but in no means necessary an aquascaping tank. I'll put a wooden shoe in my Dutch tank. You know what would be cool if someone did a Dutch tank out of a wooden shoe?
No, you sculpt the plants to look like a wooden shoe. You guys are missing it. It's all about the plant design. Y'all are done.
Yeah, see, super well kept Dutch tanks just require continuous work, water keeping, and trimming and replanting. Yep.
Y'all are done. I'm making a big giant shoe out of plants.
Like hey, that's $6,500 I didn't have before.
Yay!
Yeah, I've watched some top scapers process for the IAPLC. See, they can release it after the tank's entered. So, like, that's fun for me, knowing that I'll be able to release it afterwards. But
we just need the space, honestly.
it's hard for me to put energy into one tank. Yeah, I could definitely. I will never do a Dutch style tank. That's like my least favorite style. I think they're beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I absolutely hate cutting the plants and replanting them because it looks like crap to me for like days. I'm like, stop doing that to my tanks. He's like, this is how it's supposed to be done. And I'm like, stop cutting my plants. Just want them to look pretty. Daily water changes make the plants go bananas. Yeah, that's how some people went. Is daily water changes, the trimming. She said, "Don't do that." That's so cute.
100% water changes every day.
Yeah. The photo you have to take for your escape is the most intimidating part. I reckon it is a little bit. I think that's what a lot of people that have entered have said. Just getting the right angle, and if you have a schooling fish in the tank, you absolutely want them to be like perfect because like that will rate you so much higher. I've seen a lot of them, like the ones that win don't even have fish in them, do they?
Some of them do.
Yeah, some, but like a lot of them. Did Matthews have any fish? I don't remember. Or
I can't remember the fish.
I
always just think about the aquascape.
I just remember the hole. I feel like I'm drowning in his tank sometimes. Like I'm just looking at that little tiny hole in the top corner, and I'm like, I can't get out. I love that tank. I had a great discussion with the Saints about what judges' criteria are. Yes, if you ever like get bored and like to read things, they have all. So when they release all the winners, they have the judges' notes of like what they could have improved on. I mean, this is number one. They still have things that they could have improved on, which is crazy. You think like first place, they're winning like their grand prize over thousands of people. There would be no imperfections, but there are really good notes and there are really good things to look for and to understand. So even if you enter like this year and you make mistakes, next year you'll have a lot of critiquing, a lot of things that are well-rounded things that help in the long run. That's the one thing I would hate is like not being able to like share it with people and like be able to critique. But thankfully I have like a one up living in the house where he walks by and goes, why'd you do that? That looks awful.
You ruined it.
Yeah. Why'd you put that there? Like that just destroyed your whole tank. And so I'm lucky.
Or I just make mine so great really fast, and then she's like doing 30 things to try and one up me, and then finally on the 31st try, like Baskin Robbins, she gets that magical one and beats me.
Shape the driftwood into a shoe. if it wasn't Dutch, just no stuff in it. Like,
I'm making a Dutch tank.
Apparently in Dutch, it even has it in the rules that you can have like one rock in there. Like they allow it, but like in judging, if they see that, they're absolutely putting you at the bottom of the list because it just all plants, nothing else. Nancy B, that is why Shelby is the best aquascaper. That's funny. Rose Bowl parade, but underwater. Ooh, I want to do that. I love the Rose Bowl parade. My mom used to watch that all the time with me. And my favorite thing was to go rest in peace to the, it is Legoland now, Cypress Gardens. Used to have a bunch of topiaries, and they were just beautiful. So it's like my favorite thing to look at. She loves her belly parts. How about a windmill that works like a bio wheel? That's cool. Biotopes all the way. I do enjoy. You could enter. I wish you didn't post your river tank. That thing's cool, and it probably would win awards, but you've already got it posted everywhere. So just like rescape it. Don't post it and enter.
Do it in reverse.
Do you have to have fish, or can you just use carbonated water without fish. What?
I don't know what the rules are exactly for it, whether you need livestock or not. Because,
I don't think you need to.
but I do believe if you can have the fish as part of your flow, it definitely helps. Like doing fish wrong will hurt you, but doing fish the right way will definitely give it. Like if you're tied for a position and you have bad fish, you're definitely gonna lose. But if you have good fish and the person doesn't have fish, you lose that tiebreaker, you know? So
Aquatic Moose, it's Steve Scapes is the channel. Looks like it was in 2020. So it's Steve. Okay. I didn't know that he did that. That's crazy.
what did you do?
That's the mirror in the water, I believe. Sam said, y'all got me hyped. I'm in starting my PLC entry when I get home. All right, Sam. Bring it on. I'm still going to tear down Grant's tank if he doesn't get to it fast enough. He's just going to come home. It's going to be at the top tank, at least. I will put the plants everywhere else. Let me have that top tank.
Just go for it.
You suck for making me do that, but you know what? It's probably got the less glare up there anyway.
Easiest one to get all the rock and wood into, though, also. There's not that much room.
How about we take it down, put it on the floor, I scape it, and then you and me can lift it up? No, I know I can't lift anything above my head.
Lift it up.
Yeah, I was about to say I can't lift anything above my head
I ain't
anymore.
trusting her with more than a 55-gallon tank with gravel.
You know
and water
what? Okay, when I get healthier and I work out, maybe we could get back to that. Okay. But yeah, the last time I thought we could do it because I had been doing it for years since we've been together. Grant definitely got pretty badly hurt last time, so I do feel bad.
Dropped the 55-gallon and I
didn't drop it all the way. I dropped it a little because I couldn't lift it up above my head. I lifted it the whole time, but when I went to do this motion, I ended up dropping it on my elbows.
I can't remember if it was my forearm or my bicep.
Forearm. It was bad.
But yeah,
it
gashed me, went
bad.
into it, but I definitely caught the tank. The tank didn't break. That's what mattered.
Julian, you got to get that ripple on the surface with a hairdryer. Definitely not doing that because for some reason I feel like I'm going to be the one who drops it in and electrocutes myself. Maybe a little fan that Dr. Anthony got us that's battery operated. That might work. It's black too. I'm too scared to use a hairdryer. Anything that plugs in, no thanks. I don't know where I got lost where we're talking about tulips and windmills at this point. Yeah, and for fish to be optional, that world is just not my world. You know what's funny is Dutch tanks. I've never seen fish. I guess I've never seen shrimp in a Dutch tank either. But I don't think any of the Dutch style aquascapes have fish in them, do they? I've never seen any.
And I've definitely seen shrimp in them too. I've definitely seen red cherries in a Dutch tank. That's like so common.
Ooh, Sam said I'll do a river tank. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm going to enter my 24K Neo shrimp tank, but I'm going to call them yellow brick roads to seem fancier. You just call them super rare yellow shrimp like other people do. Or not to mention we have 1,000 of them. Do you lose points for having the filtration visible? Yes. Anything but the scape.
You want to hide it all.
Have a good night, Malcolm. All right. Dutch tank just begs to be a Skittle shrimp tank. That would be cool. A Caradina one would be cool. 20-foot gallon aquarium here. That'd be crazy. That might be a little too big, Sam. You have to get some big pieces for that. Yeah, you can just remove the equipment for the photo. Do you have to have a filter? You should, because it'll keep it crystal clear. But we're going to wrap it up this week. Join us next week because we're going to do a mosh shrimp tanks.
I actually thought we were doing it this week. So I started the notes with it, and then I was like, that's what we're doing, right? And she's like, no, that's not what we're doing. I had to change up all the notes. So till next week, I will have the right notes. and we'll see you next time. Remember, we do have a sale going on right now, Valentine's Day. Everything is buy 10, get 3 free. Put in the notes, sticks, if you spend more than $50, and we'll throw you in some of these free shrimp sticks that we used in tonight's video. Happy birthday, Toop Dog. Thank you, everybody, for watching and all the support.
Thank you.
Have
Have
a
a
good one.
wonderful night.